Roger, I know that you're accustomed to having people ask you, you know, how your James Bond is different from Sean Connery's James Bond. Well, I'm going to twist it around a little bit, and I'm going to tell you how you're different from Sean Connery.
Ah.
Because once, some years ago, I traveled all the way to Nassau to the location of Thunderball to do an interview with Sean Connery. And when we got there, not only would he not be filmed or he would not have still pictures taken, he wouldn't even say hello to us. Now, I've been sitting here watching you for hours doing interviews with all the television people and being charming and affable and so forth. So
that's because
how
they hit me. They hit me if I don't do that. And Sean was too big to be hit. No, it's not true. Sure, I'm sure that it was a bad day. Something had gone wrong.
I think it was his golf game, really. Because
oh, well, that probably was. But Sean is not like that. Sean is a very nice person.
Yes, but that really is how you're different. Now, this is a long day for you. It's coming up pretty soon, 8:30, as you say. And that's 8:30 in the evening, as Britishers say. What time did you start your day today?
6 o'clock this morning. Not in the studio, but I get up at 6 in the morning and I exercise for half an hour. I do that to make sure I'm alive, you know, because at the end of it, if I haven't fallen on the floor, I know that I can go to work.
You say, "Body, it's time to leave."
And then I swim for about 15 minutes. Then I eat a hearty breakfast. I kick the children in the mouth, punch my wife, and I come to work.
What about the cat?
We don't have a cat.
Okay. But what time were you on the set then this morning?
8:30.
Okay. And then you were doing scenes all day long, I take it.
Fighting today, which is not so taxing mentally because you don't have any lines to remember, but physically you're moving around.
Yes, and you know, I said this to Cubby Broccoli, we were chatting earlier, and I said every time I go on a movie location or on a movie set, and I watch, you know, how slow it is and how, to me, you know, a bit on the tedious side, and how painstaking it must be. And the wonder of it is, to me, Roger, that a movie ever gets finished. Do you ever have that feeling?
I wonder about that myself sometimes. We're now coming up to the last week of a 5-month schedule, which was actually a little longer for me. It's 5 months of shooting. 2 months before we started filming, I was working out at Kung Fu, because we have a long Kung Fu sequence in this film, which was very painful. And I found I had all sorts of muscles that had never been used that I had to get into use. I had to learn to take kicks and smile and kick people and not feel badly about it, become aggressive, which is not my nature. Which has helped to be Bond, you know, because Bond does those sort of things.
Yes.
I don't do them very well, but I do them, you know. I can kick me in the mouth and hear you.
Listen, Roger, I'm little, but I'm feisty.
Oh, really?
So, yes, so don't antagonize me. No, I'm a lover, not a fighter. I really have no desire.
We have something in common.
No desire to attack anyone, really. You know, I figure if I can't talk my way out of a trouble spot, then there really is no hope for me.
We should learn to run. I can run out of trouble.
Oh, yes, I run pretty good, too. One of the things, of course, anytime you hear about a new James Bond, you always associate some kind of exotic location. And the exotic location, or at least one of them for this film, was Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what sort of circumstances were you working in there?
Uncomfortable ones. We started off in southern Thailand, shooting on a little island. The nearest airport was a town called Phuket, and 2 hours from there was a town called Phang Nga, and 1 hour from Phang Nga by boat was this little island where we shot. Our hotel was in Phang Nga. I say hotel, you know, in loosest terms. I had a room that 1 step down from this room was what they laughingly called the bathroom, which consisted of a hole in the ground with 2 footsteps above it. There was a sink, but there were no taps. But there was a shower above the thing, the hole in the ground, and there was also a bucket that you filled from the shower and you threw it down the hole in the ground to flush it. And you had to jump back very quickly, otherwise it came back and hit you. And so I found I had a very good system. I could sit on the hole in the ground in the morning and turn the shower on and shave. And I couldn't read the paper because that became soggy. And I could shampoo my hair, and I could think about the day's dialogue. And Cubby Broccoli had the same sort of setup, and he found that he could put a broom in a very convenient place and sweep the room out at the same time. It was not one of nature's choicest spots to film in. It looks beautiful on the screen. It's absolutely extraordinary. Nobody will ever believe that we suffered any discomfort whatsoever.
Now, before you got there, what did Cubby Broccoli and the location people, did they prepare you for this at all?
Oh, yes, they went down and they painted the hotel so that we could find it. And we had our own catering team down there who looked out because we're an English film unit. And English crews must have tea and buns at 10 o'clock in the morning and bacon and eggs at 6. And steak and kidney pie at 6 o'clock in the evening. And we had all that. Everything was very nice there in the way, and we had a lot of laughs, and Cubby kept us jollied along. Then we moved from there to Hong Kong, which is very civilized, and a marvelous hotel to the peninsula there. Our problem was that we were coming into monsoon season, and when you're making films, the sun has to shine, you know, because it's all got to look lovely and glamorous, and of course the sun didn't shine too often. And so we'd sit around waiting for the sun to come up from behind clouds and for the sun to dry the ground that was sopping wet. Then we moved to Macau, which was also very nice. They had very good crap tables and marvelous casinos. And so Cubby and I spent a little of the budget there. We didn't spend any of the UA's money on it. It was our own. And then we went back to Bangkok to shoot for another 5 weeks. And through Bangkok there is a river, the name of which I do not know, but they have canals off this river, which are called klongs. And we could judge the way the tide was flowing every morning at 7 o'clock when we went out to location by one particular dead dog that got fatter and flowed further downriver. So we knew that it was moving at 500 yards a day because now into this river lead steps from all these houses on stilts, which looks beautiful and romantic, you know, and you say, oh, what a marvelous place to visit. But they come down those steps in the morning and they clean their teeth and they shampoo their hair, and if they submerge in the water, you know what they're doing. And so did that dead dog, because he drank some of the water. I unfortunately went in that river a couple of times, which resulted in painful injections of gamma globulin, I think it's called, to stop hepatitis.
You're lucky
I lived through it.
Well, on a location like that, you're lucky that that's the worst that happened to you, I'm sure. Did
Well,
anyone get hurt on this picture?
Yes, I did. Cubby Broccoli took a lot of money off me at backgammon.
I hope the wounds heal quickly. And Roger Moore, thank you very much for talking with us
Thank
today
you.
at Pinewood Studios. We're at Pinewood Studios outside of London, England, on the set of The Man with the Golden Gun. And these gentlemen here are two of the stars of the picture, and I'd like you to know them. Starting at my far right is Hervé Villechaize. And the tall gentleman next to me here
Taller gentleman.
is Christopher Lee. And you know, as I look at the three of us standing here, I'm reminded of the vaudeville team of some years ago, Lowhite and Stanley. Did you ever hear of them?
No, alas,
Did you
haven't.
ever?
No.
Okay.
I
And
thought you were going to say Weyburn Fields or something.
no, and we're sort of the counterpart of that because Hervé could be low, and
Really?
you could be height, and I could be Stanley because Stanley was the one in the middle.
Well, we call you Stanley.
Why don't we sit down? I think we'll make it easier for the cameraman and the boom man. And we'll continue our chat here. You know, I suppose, Hervé, in a way, I identify more with you than I do with Christopher because I'm a little less than average height for a woman, I suppose. And I think we all learn to cope eventually. God willing, we learn to cope with whatever it is. But I'm thinking of one time when, being shorter than average, I almost didn't cope with it. and it was at a audience of the Pope, and it was a fantastic crowd. And when it broke up, I was completely surrounded by people. All I could see, the backs of people and the sides of people, and I couldn't breathe, and I really got a little bit of terror. And it's the only time in my life I've ever been truly frightened. I get kind of frightened when I think back on it.
Which Pope was this?
Pardon me?
Which Pope?
Pope Pius XII.
Oh.
Because
At Castle Gandolfo.
you're talking about size there. I have only once been presented to the Pope, and that was John the 23rd. There's only for me to say anything about him. The world knows it. And I started to, not to kneel, because I'm not a Roman Catholic, but to bow. And he obviously thought I was going to kneel. And he said to me, don't kneel, otherwise people will think that you're frightened of me.
Oh, really?
Why are you kneeling in front of me? Why are you going to kneel? People will think maybe you're frightened of me. He had a most fantastic sense of humor, as everybody knows.
Yes.
You know, he was a man unlike anyone.
Yes, I think, you know, if there had to be a popularity poll of popes, at least in recent years, he would certainly be the winner. Hervé, what is the most frightening or most horrible moment you've had due to the fact that you're 3 feet 10?
Oh, I don't remember any.
Working with me, I expect.
No, that's not frightening, but like you said, the crowd is kind of frightening, but not because I'm afraid of them. It's because sometimes I get physically hurt by, you know, an umbrella or a bag, but it's not, you know, they don't know. I mean, sometimes when I go to the station and we go to the train, a lot of times, I mean, that happens, but it's not frightening. I mean, I can cope with it. I just push people here, people there, or I just put my hand on guard and nobody can push it back. So I've got hair here and hair, you know, a lot of room around me, but I don't remember anything really frightened me that much.
Being 6 feet tall, does it still have inconveniences for you, Christopher?
You mean in real life?
Yes, in real life. You're 6 feet 4.
I'm 6'4", yes.
Inconvenience.
Inconveniences, yes. Getting into cars, sometimes taxis. Sometimes, if I have to, getting in a bus, you know, unable to stand up, unable to sit down. Sometimes in aeroplanes, apart from the fact that that's what really frightens me, which is flying. Unless I'm lucky, I'm always uncomfortable. Always. And everybody who is over 6 foot will know exactly what I mean. You know, your knees are always around your chin somewhere, or particularly when you're packed together in an aeroplane. And indeed, as I said, in a car, unless it's, luckily enough, a car that I'm used to being in. Otherwise, it's got space.
And beds are always too short.
That is a great problem, I must say, a very great problem. In fact, when we were making this picture in Bangkok, they made a special bed for me, which was unlike anything I've ever seen in the whole of my life. I think you saw it. They extended it.
Hervé is enjoying just
Well,
thinking about it.
they extended this bed. I can't tell you what it looked like. Something very bizarre, something out of Charles Adams. They made it, I think, 9.5 feet long, so I don't know what they were expecting. But I think they were a little disappointed and thought that I was perhaps the smallest of the family when I came in. But in point of fact, it is a problem. Yes, of course it is.
Yes. Your wife is how tall?
She's 5'9".
Yes, so that's just
My
fine.
daughter's 5 feet. She's 10.
Yes. And how tall is your wife, Hervé?
I really don't know. She's not...
Is she
yeah,
taller
average.
than I?
She's about the
No,
same, I'd
average.
say.
I'm 5'2".
Yeah, I don't really know. You see, I'm so used to see her, but she's about what?
A little taller than
Yeah.
you, I'd say.
Yes, maybe 5'5". That's about average
like
height
that.
for a woman now. In the picture, the two of you are the villains.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you're the man behind the villain, are you not?
Yes,
Hervé?
yes.
Yes, and you're going to take on James Bond in some scenes, I understand.
Well, I tried to knock him off twice.
Yes. Is it giving too much away to ask you how you plan to do that?
One time I do it with a knife, and I missed. And another time I do it with a trident, you know, like Neptune.
Uh-huh.
And
He
then
lives underwater most of the time.
then I start throwing things at him, you know, like bottles and ashtray and things like that.
Behaves very badly, as a matter of fact. Very badly.
What do you
Behaves
mean?
badly.
Behaves very badly in the picture.
Yes, I'm not...
Yes, yes. It
nice.
keeps on, you know, really, I'm very, very pleasant character in this film.
He keeps egging you on.
All the time, you
putting
know,
you
from
up
one
for
terrible
bad
thing to
things.
another. Oh,
When
yes.
you tell me to do it, I do it.
Now, when you're in scenes together, is this any particular problem for Guy Hamilton?
Not to me.
No.
I don't know for Guy.
You
Not
just say to the
noticed it.
camera, stay with me. Is that what you say?
I'm sure he does.
Please.
Keep moving around. No, I don't think it presents a problem. It never does. Look, if people are prepared to take the trouble, it's no problem. The classic instance of this, I suppose, being in a film like Shame, with Jack Palance, who is very nearly as tall as me, and Alan Ladd, who is, as everybody knows, and this is not meant to sound in any way a derogatory remark, he was not a tall man, he was a small man. Now, they got round it, no problem. You never noticed. It depends on how you're prepared to shoot a scene, almost geometrically. You can always do it. There's no such thing as a person being too tall, or too short, or too this, or too that. It's only used as an excuse.
Yeah. What are the reactions that you get from people that disturb you, Hervé?
Well, like I was saying before, pity, people who murder me, or people who think I'm a toy. I mean, a lot of people like to play with me. And
Pick you up.
Pick me up.
You know, small women
I mean,
have that same problem.
I think it's
and
terrible.
it infuriates me.
You know, I go along with it because I cannot explain to them my life story, but, you know, it's annoying. I mean, they say, oh, come on, I want to carry you. Oh, come on, I want to do this. I'm just a toy. I mean, I can't believe it.
Yeah, do you fight? I get very feisty when people pick
I
me
don't
up.
like a fight or a hassle. I mean, I try to run my life without fight, but sometimes I lose my cool. That arrives.
You don't have to worry about people picking you up, do you, Christopher?
Well, not in that sense, at any rate. Yes. The other doesn't come along very much either, I'm afraid.
You know, Hervé, one of the things that interests me very much about your background is that if you hadn't gotten into acting, and it's taking so much time, now, I suppose that today we would probably know you very well as an artist and a painter. Would we not?
I don't know if I will be, you know, successful, but I was a painter since I was 6 until 21. That's when I really work every day. Now I work, you know, one at a time. But I used to be, it was okay. I mean, I used to be successful in France. In America, I had a hard time because they wanted me to market by painting like bread. You know, make 100 of them, the same one. And I just give up that kind of business.
Yes.
I want to do what I want.
Hervé, if you could have any painting in the world, no matter how unattainable it is, really, if we're just playing a game, if you could have any painting in the world, what would you like to have?
Well, to tell you the truth, it's a lot of paintings that I like to have.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't go for one. I will go for many different
Any
ones.
particular school of art, though?
I like Braque. I like Picasso. I like the Old Master Corot. I like Fragelico. I like, you know, all this kind of painting. But, you know, if it's possible, if I have money, I will start buying paintings for my own satisfaction.
And the wonderful thing is now, though, that you can buy very good paintings that are attainable
Yes,
for
the
anyone.
only thing I feel that is nicer when the paintings are in a museum and everybody can see it. I mean, it's kind of selfish to have it at home and nobody sees it.
Christopher, if you could have anything in the world, not necessarily a painting, but if you could have anything, what would you like to have?
You mean in terms of material possessions?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've never, ever thought about that.
Haven't you really?
And I really don't think I've got an answer.
Think about it in 30 seconds.
If you were going to say to me, what would I have wanted myself, I would say a career as a singer, to be honest, I think. Because I was born with that and I've never been able to use it.
Well, it is
That is
too late.
an unrealized ambition, so far as that is something that I certainly want.
You know.
But it is something very personal.
Maybe someday we'll see you starring in a musical, and that would be very nice. Thank you both for talking with us today. Christopher Lee and Hervé Villechaize. And this is Bobbi Wyngart at Pinewood Studios outside London, England, on the set of The Man with the Golden Gun. Watch for it.